Coming up on Global Business, the third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation wraps up in Beijing. We'll bring you the latest. World leaders convened at the high-level forum on the digital economy to discuss the use of digital technologies for speeding up economic recovery, improving connectivity of the BRI countries. China's economy in the first 3 quarters showed sustained recovery and improvement as production and supply increased steadily and market demand continued to expand. Hello and welcome to Global Business here on CGTN. I'm Michelle Vandenberg in Beijing. Today was Beijing's moment as the Chinese capital welcomed world leaders charting the course for the common good. Our colleagues earlier were at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing City Center, where the opening ceremony for the third Belt and Road Forum was held. For the latest on the forum, we're now crossed to our reporter Hou Jing in the National Convention Center. Hi there, Hou Jing. So in the opening ceremony of the third BRF, President Xi made a keynote speech, and there are many key sentences to help us understand the meaning of the Belt and Road Initiative and the achievements over the past decade. Could you take us through some of the key ideas and achievements?
Yes, Michelle. The third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation has welcomed participants from more than 150 countries, over 30 international organizations, and has witnessed the signing of more than 230 cooperative projects. During the opening ceremony this morning, President Xi made a keynote speech and announced 8 major steps to support the joint pursuit of high-quality Belt and Road cooperation, such as building a multi-dimensional Belt and Road connectivity network, supporting an open world economy, carrying out practical cooperation, and promoting green development. In his speech, President Xi stressed that humankind is a community with a shared future, and only through win-win cooperation can we achieve something big and good. That is exactly why the BRI can be a path to shared prosperity for all participating countries. And he also explained that the pioneers of the Asian Silk Routes won their place in history not as conquerors with warships, guns, horses, or swords. Rather, they are remembered as friendly emissaries leading camel caravans and sailing ships loaded with goods. Over the past decade, trains speeding along rail tracks, automobiles running on roads, flights connecting different countries, cargo ships breaking waves, and e-commerce delivering.
We're having a little bit of difficulty. That was Hou Jing in the National Convention Center in Beijing for us. Here at the Belt and Road Forum, we spoke to a number of participants who get their reactions to President Xi Jinping's keynote speech and the business deals and cooperation agreements inked at this year's event. Take a listen.
And I think this is testament to show that in the BRI, that China is opening up its market to member countries and creating opportunities within China for our countries to grow. But we know that there was a big emphasis on the digital economy as well as a new direction. And I think we're perfectly situated for where the new direction is going over the next 10 years.
Yesterday, I attended the Entrepreneurs Summit on the BRI, so more than $92 billion invest. That is very simple. So the Chinese entrepreneurs and the world entrepreneurs vote confidence about the BRI with the money investment.
I was having a pleasant surprise this morning. Now, when I came to learn that the action plan comprising 8 initiatives rolled out by President Xi. Actually, all the 8 initiatives really touched my heart. Firstly, when we talk about the air connectivity alongside the sea connectivity and land connectivity, certainly immediately that reminds me of 3D connectivity. 3D connectivity, of course, I'm fully confident that China has the capability now to spearhead this in times to come. And also at the same time, this would certainly transform further the entire landscape of connectivity, particularly the logistical connectivity across the world. And this is something I would love to see during my lifetime.
We also spoke to several former dignitaries and senior scholars to get their insights on the Belt and Road cooperation and their expectations for the initiative.
Results are impressive. I have to say that we had projects in Croatia with China in frames of Belt and Road initiatives, and it was very successful. It was Pelješac Bridge and now some energetic projects. There are about 150 countries being involved in the project, and the results are visible. It's, I think, very good example of international cooperation and win-win ideology. That's very important.
Regarding the cooperation, of course, the physical cooperation happened after the Belt and Road. There was usually cooperation and trade and things like that, but actually there was a jump when after the Belt and Road initiative. And as you remember, we have in Egypt Suez Canal. It's very important in the maritime Silk Road. So there is a lot of cooperation now, especially in infrastructure and energy and everything.
When I was here in Beijing in an official visit in this hall, in 2011 we started to talk about Silk Way. After that, President Xi was delivering the idea of Belt and Road, and my country established a strategic partnership with China, and we are getting benefits from that initiative. But at the same time, I think that many different countries are considering Belt and Road initiative in a different way, and I think that China has to take into consideration that different approaches, to be very careful in making analysis and to improve Belt and Road initiative in next decade.
Between South Asia and China, we have to have a very good relation, and China should be connected with Bay of Bengal, and India, South Asia should also be connected with China. So we should promote trilateralism, and Himalayan economic corridor is the best thing that President Xi Jinping has also emphasized over the past. So China should always take all neighbors together. It's doing so, and it has to go the same way in the days to come.
A high-level forum on digital economy was held this afternoon in Beijing. My colleague Guan Xing was there to bring us the latest.
To fully unleash the potential of the digital Silk Road, world leaders convene at a high-level forum on the digital economy to discuss the use of digital technologies for speeding up economic recovery, improving connectivity, and achieving inclusive and sustainable growth in Belt and Road participating countries.
Belt and Road participating countries should cooperate to promote digital connectivity. All parties should give full play to the advantages of the digital economy in facilitating cross-border trade, continuously advance e-government and digital payment cooperation, and steadily strengthen integration of digital standards. We need to strengthen capacity building, improve skills and literacy, and enhance inclusive development.
They held in-depth talks on establishing digital infrastructure, facilitating digital trade, and harnessing emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and blockchain.
It may be said that the pandemic enabled the digital economy to emerge and define the new strategic and operational direction for business enterprise sustainability. There is also one way to go, and there is only one way to go, and there will be no turning back.
Additionally, the forum introduced the Beijing Initiative for Digital Economy Cooperation, aiming to enhance policy coordination, jointly exploit digital prospects, and address challenges effectively.
We developed some system that help the cross-border trading by providing the digital certificate, and hope it can be verified between the country, so make the trading work better. We are going to have a meeting with other countries and hope to expand the framework to other countries.
Forum delegates believe that the digital economy represents a significant opportunity to accelerate productivity and growth among Belt and Road countries, and they are dedicated to maximizing the potential to drive sustainable and inclusive growth. The forum also laid the groundwork for more policy coordination and project implementation in the years ahead. Wenxing, CGTN, Beijing.
The State Council Information Office has recently published a white paper titled The Belt and Road Initiative, a key pillar of the global community of shared future. This document underscores the significant achievements in digital Silk Road cooperation. By the end of last year, China had inked memorandums of understanding with 17 countries to establish the digital Silk Road. China is actively engaged in bolstering digital infrastructure connectivity and is accelerating efforts on digital corridors. This includes the development of 130 cross-border terrestrial cable systems, the establishment of numerous 5G-based stations, data centers, cloud computing facilities, and the creation of smart cities. Significant projects like the China ASEAN Information Harbor and the digital platform for the China-Europe Railway Express are also progressing well. A meeting about subnational cooperation was held today during the 3rd International Forum for Belt and Road Cooperation. Representatives from various countries said that upgrading digitalization and building more smart cities played a key role in pursuing higher-level cooperation. Our Zhu has more.
Themed Deepening Cooperation to Boost Common Development, the meeting on subnational cooperation has gathered about 300 representatives from Belt and Road partner countries. They said the philosophy of the initiative is to work together to achieve shared prosperity.
Let one belt of peace tie all of us together, and then once the world community is peaceful, then China wishes to walk forward together with the rest of the world on the road to prosperity.
Over the past decade, the Belt and Road Initiative has witnessed the widespread construction of 5G base stations, data centers, and smart cities. These developments mark a digital transformation of traditional infrastructure. Moving forward, officials are calling for enhancing digital connectivity by building more smart cities.
我们在智慧城市建设当中
For constructing smart cities, we have built the world's first autonomous driving demonstration zone. Today, we have nearly 500 completely unmanned commercial use vehicles operating in Beijing. Technology like this may shape a new mode of transportation for megacities under the Belt and Road. We need to accelerate the building of digital urban governance. By building smart platforms, we've received positive feedback from our people by helping them solve complex problems efficiently.
Meanwhile, many Belt and Road partner countries have carried out cross-border courses in high-tech sectors, such as artificial intelligence and big data, further aiding smart city development.
First of all, we will try to collect and to make it together, the scientists from both sides, and we will exchange our experiences and research results. After that, I think we will achieve better scientific results.
Looking ahead, officials said cooperation in digital infrastructure connectivity will be further strengthened. More and more smart cities will be built in Belt and Road partner countries, which previously had no basic network infrastructure, to further promote digital upgrading. Zhu, CGTN, Beijing.
The think tank conference of the Belt and Road Forum was held in Beijing today. It brought together global leaders and scholars from various countries who exchanged insights on the Belt and Road Initiative. Our reporter Wang Tianyu has more from the conference.
Common opportunities and shared future. This is the theme of the think tank conference of the Belt and Road Forum. On Wednesday, hundreds of global leaders, government officials, and think tank scholars from over 40 countries and regions gathered to discuss the past and future of the Belt and Road Initiative.
进入高质量发展新阶段的坚定决心。
Think tanks are an indispensable and important force in promoting the construction of the Belt and Road. It is also a bridge for the dissemination of ideas, interpretation of policies, and communication of public opinions.
民意通达的桥梁纽带。
guest speakers praised the BRI's role in boosting international collaboration. They say it has helped many countries to improve their economies.
China has helping Belt and Road countries to develop their infrastructure, the hardware, make great progress in building hardware. I think the next stage, we need to focus more on our soft power, extending our influence,
At the conference, an initiative aiming to promote international think tank cooperation for the BRI was launched. It shows China's eagerness for more international cooperation in academic fields. In response to Western countries' skepticism about the BRI, scholars said it was important to focus on how the project is welcomed by the world.
That doesn't stop the majority of the world's countries. I mean, what are there? There are slightly over 200 countries in the world, if my memory is correct. And 150 of them have joined the Belt and Road Initiative, so that speaks for itself.
Belt and Road Initiative has achieved far greater success than anyone imagined in terms of the number of concrete projects.
According to speakers at the conference, BRI will continue to contribute to the globalization, just like what it has already achieved in the past decade. Wang Tianyu, CGTN, Beijing.
Our reporter Hou Jing caught up with Ethiopia's Minister of Finance, Ahmed Shide, to know what he thinks of the upgraded Sino-Ethiopia strategic partnership. Take a listen.
Ethiopia and China just established the all-weather strategic partnership between the two sides. Ethiopia has been a strong supporter of China's BRI. How can the two sides further leverage the BRI framework for closer economic cooperation and align with Ethiopia's 10 years perspective development plan?
Strategic partnership between Ethiopia and China has been elevated from today to all-weather comprehensive strategic cooperation, which involves many areas and consolidates what we have been working before. We have been able to implement so many projects which has significant importance in terms of infrastructure, capacity expansion in Ethiopia. And Ethiopia was also able to implement various energy generation, energy transmission and distribution projects, water supply projects in different parts of the country. And so Ethiopia was also able to implement the development of its telecom infrastructure as part of the cooperation with China. In terms of capacity building as well, China was able to provide a lot of scholarships, a lot of health, education, agricultural training as well. So I can see the Belt and Road initiatives has benefited Ethiopia significantly in many sectors. Ethiopia is a testimony when it comes to win-win cooperation between China and Africa, between South to South cooperation. So we have been very happy, strongly supporting BRI.
And what is your view on the sustainability of BRI-related financing?
BRI is already a sustainable initiative. Now we are going to discuss on the 10-year achievement. The issue of debt is a short-term challenge. The ultimate solution of that is economic growth and development, but the short-term challenge needs support from China and other international development partners. The other issue is how can we leverage more private sector finances? That's very important. I think BRI initiative will continue to focus on facilitating private sector solutions to development problems. So promoting investment from China in terms of building Africa's production capacity, Ethiopia's production capacity is going to be very important.
What opportunities will be further unlocked for Chinese companies to invest in Ethiopia?
Ethiopia offers huge market for Chinese investment. We have more than 120 million populations. We are neighboring a lot of countries in the Horn of Africa. So the regional market can be served also by locating in Ethiopia. Ethiopia has invested a lot on infrastructure and it is logistics connectivity with Djibouti. That is a very important competitive factors. Chinese companies will benefit from all this infrastructure, competitiveness of Ethiopia, as well as the labor competitiveness of Ethiopia, energy competitiveness of Ethiopia. Economic reform we are embarking on as part of homegrown economic reform, its fundamental purpose is to attract private sector-led growth and development.
You're watching Global Business, still to come. China's economy in the first 3 quarters showed sustained recovery and improvement as production and supply increased steadily and market demand continued to expand.
We're stepping out of the studio to take you on a brand new journey along the Belt and Road.
With a mission to record how the initiative has changed lives and livelihoods.
We travel to over 20 countries.
Division reportage Almaty, Kazakhstan.
À Dubaï, aux Émirats Arabes Unis.
Desde Las Calles de Rio de Janeiro.
للمشاريع في Dhaka, Bangladesh.
We document not only infrastructure along the Belt and Road countries,
but also cultural links that bound the community with a shared future.
Stories of how they promote growth and improve lives.
We invite you
only on our special series of the New Silk Road.
China has issued a stern rebuke after the U.S. placed export restrictions on semiconductors destined for China. The country's Ministry of Commerce urged America to cancel the export control measures as soon as possible. Today's response comes as the Biden administration stepped up efforts to keep advanced chips out of China by restricting sales of processors designed specifically for the Chinese market. The latest restrictions have shored up the previous ones on artificial intelligence-related chips to China. A MOFCOM spokesperson added that undue control by the U.S. had seriously hindered the normal economic and trade exchanges among relevant enterprises and would also threaten the stability of the global industrial and supply chain. China's economy in the first 3 quarters showed sustained recovery and improvement as production and supply increased steadily and market demand continued to expand. That's according to officials of the National Bureau of Statistics. CGTN's Zheng Chunying has more from a press briefing in Beijing.
A 4.9% growth in the third quarter from a year earlier. That's according to a release from China's National Bureau of Statistics on Wednesday. This follows the 6.3% figure for the second quarter and 4.5% growth for the first quarter.
The national economy sustained the momentum of recovery and improvement with the positive factors amassing as production and supply increased steadily. Market demands continued to expand, employment prices generally improved, and quality of development enhanced steadily.
According to the officials, both the industrial production and service sectors maintained fast recovery.
In the first 3 quarters, the value added of industrial enterprises above the designated size grew by 4% year-on-year, 0.2 percentage points higher than that of the first half year, and that of services went up by 6% year-on-year.
China also released monthly data Wednesday, reporting 4.5% growth in industrial production and a 5.5% spike in retail sales in September from a year earlier. Unemployment eased to 5% in September from 5.2% a month earlier. Officials say China's economy is still facing many challenges, including insufficient domestic demand and a complicated international political and economic situation. But they are still confident that these will be addressed through deepening reform and opening up, promoting innovation, and pursuing high-quality development. Zheng Chunying, CGTN, Beijing.
Now, for more on the latest data on the Chinese economy, we're joined by Wang Yaojing, Assistant Professor in Economics at Peking University. Professor Wang, thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk first about the GDP data. Is it in line with expectations, and what's your outlook for the fourth quarter?
Well, thank you for having me. A 4.9% growth rate for the third quarter and a 5.2% for the 3 quarters cumulative was actually better than a lot of the foreign institutions' expectations earlier, which is also why some of those institutions adjusted their forecast for the rest of the year just weeks ago. And it is largely within our own expectation, as our annual growth target is 5%, which means that a roughly 4.4% growth rate for the last quarter would suffice to meet the target. And speaking of the fourth quarter, if we look at the momentum, PMI is rising and back to the expandatory area again after being contracted for the months before. Exports have been able to maintain at last year's level despite the overall slowdown of the global economy, and domestic consumption, manufacturing companies' revenues are also growing. So we are expecting the fourth quarter would maintain this resilient recovery, and China is very likely to be able to fulfill the target of 5% growth for the year 2023.
And were there any bright spots in industrial production in Q3, for example, high-end manufacturing?
Yes, exactly. So the bright spot for industrial production is indeed high-end equipment manufacturing, which is scoring a 6% growth compared to the 4% growth rate of the overall manufacturing line. So high-end manufacturing, including large and advanced equipment production, rely very heavily on innovation capabilities and business operation efficiency. So this fast-growing industry is showing that the Chinese economy is not growing in size, but also in quality. This upgrade in industrial structure corresponds to China's demographic change as population growth slows down also. But at the same time, more people receive higher education. And over the past decade, a lot of the government policies have been innovation-driven. And we are seeing the effects of them right now, and we expect to see longer-term outcomes in years to come.
And domestic consumption is also a very important pillar of China's economic growth. What impact did long holidays such as the combined Mid-Autumn Festival and National Holiday have on consumption? Is demand still there in China?
Well, yes, domestic consumption is a vital part of the Chinese economy, and we are seeing an 18.9% increase from services and retail department over last year. And you mentioned the summer holidays and the National Day holidays, which are reflected in the 2 percentage point of per capita service consumption as an increase as a portion of overall individual consumption. And policy-wise, there have been a series of consumption boosters, and local governments are getting into this competition on attracting tourists with local specialties and a unique traveling experience, which helps the local labor market as well, and improve infrastructure and administrations in the area. And China is one of the most populated country in the world, and as long as we have a robust labor market and workers earn their fair share of income, the demand is there as the economy continues to recover.
All right, thank you so much for your insights. Really appreciate your time. Wang Yaojing, Assistant Professor in Economics at Peking University for us. And that will do it for this edition of Global Business here on CGTN. I'm Xiao Vandenberg in Beijing. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.
This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.